Hello everybody, welcome back to the Desmos Swan Initialize here for the LJL Academy League. Day number 3 is currently on us, and upon us is V3 Esports facing off against Rascal Jester. Have we still got those lineups able to bring up on screen? Oh, we do. Oh, so clean. So V3 Academy, the team that currently are undefeated at the moment, facing off against Rascal Jesters, who are having a trying time in the Academy League at the moment.
Yeah, they are. Still a bit of work to be done, I think, for Rascal Jesters as it stands. Of course, it's one of those ones where if you've come in with a particular read on how to play the game, what to play in the game, and realize you've got it wrong, there isn't a lot of time to fix it as it stands in this kind of tournament format. Whereas on the other side, V3 Academy have been together for a while. Some of these players have been up in LJL's main roster, Unica, recently, of course, most famously going up and doing a very good job of filling in for Mujin and looking very, very talented. This V3 Academy roster, a lot of talent, a lot of practice. From the rumors we're hearing behind the scene, they are something of international scrim gods as well when they're heading up against some of the bigger academy rosters from around the world, and the likes of the LPL and the LCK. Now, there are rumors going around. These guys are superb, and it gives us a bit of a David and a Goliath setup. First versus last, both in terms of results and in terms of what we've seen, I think, in play. I think pretty fair to say V3 Academy look like by far the best team here. Maybe CGA Academy.
Well, we actually get day number 5 is going to be V3 meeting CJ, so it couldn't be more perfect, really.
That's a fun one. So we'll see whether that goes somewhere on the other side. Rascal Jesters, honestly, 0-3. Even Sengoku Gaming, who are now 0-4 after their last game, looked pretty okay in that loss. And
yes.
That's kind of what I need to see from Rascal Jesters. I need to see a step up, even if it is a very difficult one to do it in, right? You're doing it against the best team in this tournament thus far.
Yeah, and I believe we're going to be going over to straight into our pick and ban play. So let's just take it away. Initialize V3 Esports on the blue side, Rascal Jester red side, Alawi and Ziggs already taken away from by V3.
Yeah, they know what they're doing. Of course, a couple of these are, again, those pocket pick bans. Alawi is a nightmare to play into if you don't know what you're doing against it. So
and Rando's special.
So maybe don't give Rando the Alawi, you know, all of these things. Of course, on the other side, Varus, Syndra, super high priority in general right now. And so they're just taking them off the table. One final ban to work with Rascal Jester, and they'll take off the Galio, which feels so appropriate considering it's against V3.
I mean, Yu-Gi-Oh training under Ace. Can we say a more iconic duo for Ace outside of maybe Twisted Fatal Rise? It's like, oh, high mobile champions.
I suppose is the only two. You know, yeah, it is Galio. Let's be real. This Galio is the thing.
Well, it's also what he is sadly cursed by with that world's performance, but we won't go too much further with that because of B1 Lee Sin. At least some things from pro play has bled into LJL Academy, and that Lee Sin on B1 has been one of them. Are we going to see the response of the Xin Zhao? Well, no, we're actually going to see an identical pick of Leona as that R1. If we get we can't get Ziggs, so we can't actually continue the trend any further from game number 1 into game number 2 initialized, thankfully.
Yeah, the poke options are a little bit down, but instead we're going to see Suratama go towards the Kai'Sa. Decides to go for the all-in option early. Does pair up well with the Leona. The Kai'Sa has been a little bit behind. The Cuckoos is now 11-16, so I believe this is the patch where some of those changes start to come through and give Kai'Sa a little bit more love and attention. Not wanting to go back over and look over that because obviously there's some more changes that are on the PvE right now, which I may question myself, but that's fine. And then they're going to lock in LeBlanc as well for Yu-Gi-Oh, which is something he's already shown some good things on, of course, the time we've seen him. Of course, he was back on, was it
Burning Core in summer, yeah.
And yes, he was. And Washington going to get a hold of the Camille as well.
I mean, Washide has been a Camille main. He hasn't picked it up once in Academy. He's been playing a lot of Kennen for V3 at the moment. Getting to play this Camille, going to be fun for him to see because this is going far more into comfort zone territory. And it's also a takeaway from Rando. So it kind of achieves two things with one pick. Cosmic, though, well, at least Cosmic is locking in. Well, he locked in that volley bear. Obviously, that is a flex between jungle and top, so we'll have to see the kind of direction in which they want to go. Against the Camille, though, I have to imagine it's probably going to be in the jungle, as Rascal Jester are going to continue targeting this bot lane. There have been 4 bot lane bans at this point in time now.
Yeah, they really have. Got to keep our eyes out on what the rest are going to be. It is interesting to see things like the Malzahar taken off the table here. I don't know how.
Cosmic played it yesterday in his one
That
game
explains
yesterday.
it. That was that more what I was like. That makes a lot of sense. But I was thinking more in terms of, does it really fit in with the dive combo right now? Like, I mean, you can flash Nether Grasp, but like, it's not the most obvious dive combo. It's more of a pick option, I guess. But they're just gonna get rid of it anyway because you put Cosmic out of comfort zone. It's the Fiora off the table as well, so Rando won't get a hold of that. And now we're left through to the second phase. AD carries still to pick up for Marble, and there have been a few of the big ticket ones taken off, so curious to see what they go to when they get to it. Jester's still got this pick to work with. I wonder whether they go for top lane, considering they know what they're into already. Likely.
I have to imagine they will. I mean, obviously, the other reason for the Malzahar is it's pretty good against LeBlancs because of just naturally having that shield as well. So
that's a horrible time to time
no,
press.
even though it's not great versus the other 2 champions that have been picked there, it's still fine. Marble going for the biggest hyper carry in all of League of Legends outside of maybe Mr. 200 Years, who got taken away because guess what? Zyra Khan, very strong combo. V3 well and truly throwing him down. And a quick fun fact for you, Initialize, coming into this one. Marble hasn't died a single time. He actually has an infinite KDA still coming into day number 3. And he hasn't been a slack either. He has been the main carry on this side of V3, outputting more damage than any other member consistently. This is a player to watch, and this was not the name that you came in probably expecting to be the main carry, because Yu-Gi-Oh! And Unica are here. These are established LJL names. So it's going to be a very tough one for the side of Shakespeare and Siratoma coming into this match, because this might be the best bot lane facing off against a bot lane that has been having a decent laning phase, but struggling to transition that into any form of positives for the rest of the team.
I mean, yeah, that's fair. At least the Jesters here have got a combo to potentially shut down this bot lane. GP is there with the ultimate. You've got Volibear to turn off the tower. You've got Leona and Kai'Sa, and then of course you've locked it. You know, you've got options here to basically say, you know what, we've got Rise roaming down with the Realm Warp as well. At this point, we all press R, we go under tower, and there's only one Featherstorm. So I love that just maybe, there's a way there.
I love that you highlighted the fact that the side of Rascal Jester have a lot of repositioning built into their kit. So if it ever looks like it's going to be a difficult situation against a Xayah or a Rakan, that's a really good thing you can do. And the other point of note is V3 have no front line. They have, they are all in on winning this game in the first 30-35 minutes, which kind of makes sense because guess what? The average game time is about 33 minutes, I believe, in the in Academy at the moment. So kind of leads into this. We're not going into the 27-minute game time. V3, though, have been one of the teams with Crest Gaming Act who are consistently trying to go below that 30-minute mark, because if you go over 30, you're starting to go into scrappy one fight's going to end the game kind of territory. V3 are trying to prevent that. This is a very early composition with a Zyra Khan, so not quite filling into that. But if you've got someone who's been a hyper carry and had all of the gold being funneled into them already, why not continue that strategy with maybe one of the biggest hyper carries in the world? I just would have liked to have seen a Jinx instead, because guess what? I might be biased with all of my recent research. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, pretty much. I mean, you're looking over there and you're looking at the likes of LeBlanc and Lee Sin. You know, that's a really strong mid jungle 2v2. So you can do.
Well, we want Shaco, obviously.
Of course, you know. Wait for Saturday with that one. Axis main roster fighting detonation. Focus me. That's going to be a big match. But we've got ourselves some academy to get through, and it should hopefully sate our appetites. Never mind Wetland, because this looks like a pretty interesting little matchup as well.
Who do you favour?
I mean, I'll still favor V3. I think they've got a lot of tools here. I mean, I think you probably do as well. You know, Blanc, Lee Sin, a lot of agency in that 2v2. You can make a lot of things happen early. You can roam to the Camille. You can try and go with that Zyra Rakan and keep them alive. But at least for Jesters, I'm looking at their draft and going, yeah, makes sense.
I think on a draw, I think you're summing up perfectly. Rascal Jesters versus V3 Esports. If we take all of the nameplates off and we just look objectively at a draft, if you ask me in solo queue who's going to win this game, I'd actually probably go with Rascal Jesters on a strictly team-based coordination kind of thing. I would go, this one looks slightly easier to execute back to front. It seems a bit harder. There's a lot of reliance on the side of V3 executing flawlessly, which, by the way, they have been doing. So, I mean,
Sure.
why not put yourselves into a spot where mechanically outplay your opponents as opposed to Rascal Jester, who have got things like a Leona roll, which is a lot easier to do, a lot more point and click stuff. You don't have to try and mirror everything up. So I definitely think that's one thing. The other thing I want to bring in just before we pop onto this rift, Yu-Gi-Oh has gapped every mid he's played against so far. Cosmic has been getting gapped in a lot of mid lane matchups. I want to highlight that before we go in because I am a little worried that that could be a place of pressure.
Yeah, could well be. And I mean, there's a reason you've picked the Blanc Lee Sin. It's not quite
Right?
It's not quite Syndra Lee Sin, which of course is a little bit more immediate with its CC and burst, but you've got a lot of mobility, you've got a lot of agency. If you snowball on those two picks and start translating it towards Washide on the Camille or Marble on the Xayah, this game falls apart really quickly. Like I like, we said like Jester's have got a really good comp in the sense that look, you can play the side lanes, you've got, but you also just got this comp which basically can just dive in on a bot lane and try and shut that down. Like it makes sense, it's a good comp, but like I'm just looking at V3 and I'm going, quite hard to dive, Zarakan. You need to LeBlanc and Lee Sin on two of the best players mechanically in this Academy League as well. That gets a bit scary, and I need to basically see Cosmic stand their ground, not get snowballed on. I'm looking at the likes of Europe as well to get things happening early on the volley bear, or at least try and stymie Unica and make some things happen towards that bot lane, or this game gets a little bit dire if things like the Kai'Sa don't really get going.
Oh, absolutely. They need to get the things. They need to get these champions picked up early on. Wow, Blitzcrank Chan is just going V3 Central. And look at this early game damage being done onto Siratama. Sadly, this is a continuation of things we have seen. Lots of teams are exploiting the bot lane of Rascal Jester at level 1. We almost saw them get level 1 killed with Braum Ashe. Just you can imagine that combination of the Freljordian duo.
A little bit sad there for the guy. Says Siratama was like on the edge of getting out the grand entrance and just got knocked up, so it took a bit more damage than was hoping for the level 1 with the likes of Zyra Rakan. You activate the deadly plumage on Zyra and suddenly everyone takes way more damage than anticipated. That was the early shove, early level 2 in for Marble and Hettel. Siratama down at the pot, does of course have Biscuit still to work with and will be okay for now, but that means pressure and priority in every lane right now for V3, and that's going to give Unica a lot to work with here. Kurep thus far unspotted, but with the Raptors being down, should be pretty obvious where that volley bear is pathing.
The only other thing I do want to just kind of point out when, as we're still in the laning phase, is, geez, these two mid laners are just smacking each other constantly, is Camille. Washide on this Camille, the rune that they decided to go for, they've gone Comet. Normally, obviously, you go Grasp or you go Omni Stone, as we've seen in LEC. Oh, no, EU Masters. Nymera was actually casting over Camille with Omni Stone. Shout out to our boy, Nymera. Going for this comment, this is a poke. Like Rando, Washide, and the side of E3 just want to hurt people. Unica's just going to collect this. Volibear understood very early on. That is not mine. Not anymore.
Tried to sneak in and take it away. Was hoping to maybe get there and use the smite before.
Double now for Unica.
Yeah, that is the price of priority. It's the reason a lot of junglers are so aggro about flashing for scuttles. Blabber out there turns in his sleep, I'm sure. But that's kind of unfortunately some of the point, right? Like you can get seriously snowballed on out of the experience that you lose from not getting those scuttle crabs. That's two major camps early on in the game. It means levels come through a bit faster. It means you can start looking to invade onto things like respawns of raptors like this with the advantage to your name. And Kurep now gonna have to try and do their best to defend this. The Sky Splitter's gonna come out and gonna hit.
Yu-Gi-Oh got priority.
Yu-Gi-Oh does have priority, and just gonna make sure that Kurep and Unica Had to fight this one at mano a mano. And, at least Kurup gets a few of those, but Unica getting a hold of the big chicken alongside one or two of those additional popcorn pieces. Feeling pretty happy about this early game thus far. Okay.
Did I die?
No, I'm still here. I managed to hiccup partway through and muted myself is what actually happened. So, see behind, a glance behind the curtain. I was trying not to hiccup on stream.
That's more than okay. I just suddenly heard everything go very silent. I'm like, did I die? I don't know. Oh, Yu-Gi-Oh going for the play.
Oh, Yu-Gi-Oh did. No, so Yu-Gi-Oh didn't. Yu-Gi-Oh gets the kill. Cosmic died. That was nearly a really nice takeoff from that one, but either way, you said Yu-Gi-Oh was doing some gap, and that's a good start to that.
I mean, just look at the CS advantage. That's a wave advantage already at 5 minutes in. Remember, 6 waves per wave, 5 of them go down. The expectation that people might miss one. Yeah, that's how this goes. This is just Yu-Gi-Oh going for an extended trade and Cosmic not identifying the fact that, look at the amount of this. He popped his potion very early on into that play. Did Yu-Gi-Oh? Cosmic didn't pick it until Yu-Gi-Oh was already on him. So Yu-Gi-Oh was getting the ticks this whole time. He still got the potion ticking, by the way. The very beginning of that first, when he jumped over, that first auto did get the empowered. It's gonna tick, burn, 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 and Cosmic was gone at the end of it. That was a level disparity at the very start of that play. Like, Yu-Gi-Oh calculated all of this. Cosmic wasn't quite aware, and now the lanes are crashing. This is just Yu-Gi-Oh getting a further advantage.
Rando needs to be a little afraid here, especially if Washday hits 6. Things could get a touch dicey, of course. There is the corrupting potion that is going to come through to keep them alive alongside the side of that cannon barrage. Again, Cosmic doesn't manage to play the phase rush quite right and does get chained, but okay thus far. Just burn for burn right now with Unica continuing to take up these Raptors, and it's just a bit of a laning advantage right now for a lot of these members. Rando at least doing pretty well on this GP, doing their best to keep up the little advantage they've got in this range versus melee matchup, as finally a chain misses. Decent route there onto Yu-Gi-Oh, but here comes Unica. Kurup is around as well, but it's going to be an easy shove-in right now for the side of V3's mid-jungle.
Yeah, and not only this, I want to just identify something just before we do get there. There is a huge disparity in bot lane at the moment with the CS advantage. That is not the circumstance, but think about that level 1 engage that came from Hatel at the very, very start. That has ballooned into this kind of advantage because because Rascal Jesters have been living at, well, their turret this whole time. V3 Esports has actually been at their turret. That's where I was going with this analogy. So this whole time, what are Rascal Jesters going to do? Their jungler's being pulled around everywhere while also losing multiple objectives. There's the level disparity, 5 to 6, and this volley barrier isn't getting 6 even off this.
Used to be a little afraid there. Does at least get the second chain, but did get chunked out for their troubles. All the while, Unico is just hunting around that Skull Crab. Did get level 6 off, stealing another Raptor camp away from Kurup. Now bot side. Just want to see Shakespeare and Shiratama just step forward.
Getting 6 off that wave.
Something. Yeah, we'll get 6 off this wave, and that gets a bit scary. Unica finally secures that Scuttle Crab, looking to see if they can get on top of Rando, but there are just enough wards around to make sure that Rando knows they are in danger. And with Kurup around as well, makes things a bit difficult. Shiratama takes a nasty little trade there from the feathers being shot out and pulled back immediately.
Yeah, and the moment that this bot lane hits 6, I would not be too surprised if they're going to be yelling at Unica, get down here, let's just dive them. These guys don't know what to do. Because guess what? That has been what's happening because Rascal Jester, you need to support your bot lane because Marble has quietly done this in a bunch of other games already in the Academy. They slowly find advantages. That's 2 turret plates without being a Ziggs, without being a Tristana. This is just passive pushing.
Kurup as well there had to flash away, was hanging around in that bush
so
for such
dangerous.
a long time trying to shield their top lane. And instead he saw Unica didn't roam top, took the Herald, manages to get the flash with the help of Yuja, and that was always the fear of having this LeBlanc, this Lee Sin, this agency early when you've got pushing or you've got options in these side lanes gets very scary as see ourselves just a little bit of damage and danger right now.
It's a little bit,
Ooh,
just a little bit.
Used to be a bit afraid there as the root did come through, but did have the Eclipse shield, so hard to finish that one up. And gonna probably have the back here on the bot lane of Rascal Jesters, and That means this tower looking mighty low on HP. Already 3 plates gone before 10 minutes.
Not just that, where is the advantage coming back for the side of V3E? Well, for Rascal Jester, because I don't think it's going to be in this top lane if you guys go a bit too deep.
It's the Stormbringer, and the Storm is quickly snuffed out. That's a cannon barrage as well, so double ultimate popped. Marble gets a 4th plate for themselves in the bot lane. Kai'Sa is now coming back down here as Shiratama, but at which point you've got to be a little afraid potentially of a return dive coming through, so things getting a little dicey right now for the Rascal Jester squad, already down about 1,500 gold, just purely really from laning right now.
And what I think is so disparaging, oh my god, look at this mythic item coming in already for Marble. He is probably the richest man on the Rift at this moment in time.
The moment you speak about it, yes, he is.
Yeah, it's not surprising when you get probably all of those turret plates. And actually, you know what? I can identify it is every single turret plate because Hattel hasn't actually gotten enough gold that would actually push him over Shakespeare. Because guess what? Hattel's just been doing a lot of poke damage, so he's just getting that money passively through just doing the poke with, depending on which item. I believe they just went for tank one, so they've been getting more CS, and they did go, yeah, they went tank. They've got their ward finished. That's probably just all through CSing and helping Marble get all of this. The other thing that I want to identify is V3 have been having prio in this bot side this whole time. They've gotten 6. Shakespeare and Shiratama, while they haven't died, it's not like they've been able to actually help their jungler in any way of an advantage. Dragons are on the table. It's gonna be pretty high.
Getting a little rough right now. Of course, not out of this game as yet, but the fact that this Xayah is so scary as Cosmic does get rooted. He's going to get flashed on to allow the second chain, to allow Unica to get in, to allow a second kill for Yu-Gi-Oh! LeBlanc, Lee Sin continue to make Cosmic's life hell. The stars are certainly not looking auspicious for the man named after the night sky.
And I didn't want to allude to this earlier, but I sadly did. It's getting worse and worse as the game goes on, and this might actually be a first turret actually, because Marble hasn't actually got that one in the mid lane, and while Kurup is looking to try and get this Rift health, but first Scuttle Crab for him, it might be their life they pay for this, because they don't have their flash, remember.
There's the Hextech ultimatum. There is no Storm to get out. Does manage to get over the wall. He's unstoppable. It ends it pretty well. All right. I'll take that one back. Not bad for Kurup. But now they've got to play the bot side of Shiratama. Dead to rights down there. Hetzel gets out as well. Probably needed to hope for a flash at best, but the charm just too clean. And Shiratama left on their own. Gets dived, goes down.
Feathers fly, Gale Force, QE. It's not too surprising that Shiratama was there on our screens and then suddenly had disappeared off of Summoner's Rift. First turret now down in that bot lane, well and truly. And Marble, take a bow, because that's really hard to do on a Xayah. That's really, really hard to do. And Shiratama also isn't a pushover. I've watched some of their games on solo queue. They're not a pushover. This is genuine credit going over as more mythics coming out from the side of V3, and if you thought things were going bad for the Rascal Jesters in the first 10 minutes of this game, ladies and gentlemen, it's about to probably get a bit worse because it's already a 4k gold lead.
Oh yeah, bad meat worse. 3 kills in. They've got the turret, they've got a load of plates, still a minute left to collect those 6 remaining plates on the map. You've got a LeBlanc that is snowballed. Lee Sin that has been matching this Volibear early on all the way through, has been able to get very little done. The only place that's been relatively stable, honestly, has been Rando on this GP, who had been doing pretty well up until this point, but is getting pretty dire. Of course, Rascal Jesters have got tools to force things, but they need to be aware that they're bleeding out gold real damn fast right now.
Yeah, and part of that gold bleed has been through this bot lane. We saw earlier how bad it was, and that was before a kill had come through. Marble is back to doing the 20 CS. It did fall basically back to 15, but that's a 20 CS lead. That's about 3.5 waves, but they're going to try and find something.
They're going to look for the engage. There is no ultimate for Marble right now. That is the Void Seeker landing, but they won't be able to get anything more.
Jump. Oh.
There's nothing left, unfortunately. Can't force hard enough. I think Curate would have had to flash ult probably to make that one work. But instead, we're going to see the try and turnaround as Unica is here looking to punish. Shiratama gets charmed, but is still alive. Shakespeare now forced to flash away. It's a much ado about nothing. And he gets to walk out alive.
Oh, Shakespeare, you were so close. I thought you were in danger, but sadly, actually, the engage that you initially thought that was actually onto you by Hatel. She does get out, so at least there is some credit for Shakespeare there. I thought she was going to die, but had to burn both the exhaust, both the flash. So pretty much net advantage for V3 Esports. They get to keep the tempo. Leona doesn't have the tenure, well, the ability now with the rain on her abilities to flash now. Zenith Blade in, doesn't get the long-ranged ultimate. It's going to be a bit more, and V3 are just eating every objective. They got now 2 turrets, they're getting this second rift out, and I imagine Dragon is probably going to be on their list of things they want soon.
Oh, Cosmic, there's the chains. Yu-Gi-Oh won't
jump back for
kill.
BM.
Just gonna say, all right, that's enough of that. We'll keep Cosmic tightly locked behind his tier 2. Unica picks up second Rift Herald. Just look at the item discrepancies right now. It's Mythics moving on to half of a second item for most of V3. It's one completed Divine Sundra and no other Mythics at the time of speaking right now for Rascal Jesters. Those are some major discrepancies. Look at the vision control. Look at where V3 are playing. They are into the enemy jungle. They are up to these tier 2s, and Rascal Jesters are trying to staunch the bleeding, but they just don't have enough bandages, Lexi.
No, this is going from bad to worse. If I was a doctor or if I was a nurse, I would be calling for the ER and emergency services right this moment in time, because someone needs to come in. My bear, that's a teddy bear now. That's not an Omen King, one of the most powerful creatures that has ever existed in the League of Legends. No, this is Winnie the Pooh.
Apparently, LeBlanc is so evil, she treats her childhood toys like horribly, because that was not a particularly nice hug from LeBlanc there. As they went in, Shiratama flashed out the ground entrance, doing pretty well to try and escape. Has still got the ult to try and play out best they can. It is trying its dip, dodge, duck, dive, and still unfortunately die. Credit where credit is due. It was some fancy feet, but the fancy feet are only leading you 6 feet deep. Shakespeare now going golden, but they will finally fall. You can stick that one as a monument in a museum. It'll be just down the road from the Globe here in London, I tell you. But Shakespeare's plays are not looking anything like a comedy. It's all a tragedy here for the bot laner Rascal Jesters. The turnaround now trying to come through as Hetel survives. So it's now Yu-Gi-Oh hunting for some more. And they will finally stop the play, but it was all V3 all day, chasing Shiratama all the way up the river into a kill onto Shakespeare, into this tier 1 in the top side. Pretty sublime stuff. This replay will show it all.
Yeah, Shiratama used so much as well. They saw that very early TP coming through. Shiratama's like, does their absolute best, does get charmed. And I wonder, obviously, if Hatel did this play slightly differently and didn't immediately go in with the grand entrance, maybe there was a chance that they didn't even have to blow as much as they did to actually get onto them. My concern now, at the end of all of this play, because Rascal Jesters used a lot of their engage and disengage to try and escape these 2 plays from the bot lane. They don't have flash, they don't have heal, they don't have a completed mythic for either of the support or the AD carry. They used the stopwatch as well. I'm worried that Rascal Jesters have been trying to throw anything and everything at every play that has been made around this map, and it just keeps up coming. Well, they keep rolling number 1 on the dice, and I don't know if there's a chance for them at this point now. This is kind of the place where you start going, it looks a bit doomed, Initialize, I feel.
Does a little bit. Yeah, no, this one's feeling a little bit like Titus Andronicus, namely 5.1 atrocities an act, and I think V3 are the one committing them. Looking pretty scary. Shakespeare is quite aptly the one that falls when I make that particular reference, and they get on out.
I just love the immediate teleport that came out from Rando. He's like, no, I ain't dying for this. My KDA staying perfect. It's fine. It's not my fault.
I will let you live so others may hear the tale.
Yes, very much. As Crep might be in that same space now.
The Elder God about to be kicked down to size as Unica starts hunting.
Oh, he landed it!
Monk v Deity, and apparently the Monk coming out mostly on top, forcing Volibear to retreat behind the tier 2. It's 6,000 plus gold at this point for V3 Academy in the advantage. They are winning absolutely everywhere. There is an Ocean Dragon alive. They just don't care about. Finally, though, UJ might have gone too deep, being stunned up, might be taken down here, looking to come in, and that is a critical shutdown that Shiratama picks up with the Killer Instinct. It is a bright spark in a game that has been very devoid of them. Finally on the tower, finally in a place where they might get something shaken. Now going in, trying to get some more. Flash out, did force some sort of stuff out of Marble, but it's only the Gale Force really, as Washite is taken low, but not taken out. There is no follow-up right now. Here overcomes Rando, though, looking maybe for some barrels, gonna try and get some knock-ups, maybe get kicked back in, though, gonna heal up best they can. Finally, the feathers start flying, and that is a fabulous pullback. In comes Washite, but over the back goes Churup, and V3 have finally gone too deep, too far. Rando now trying to outplay. In comes the Realm Warp. That'll be Cosmic coming back in. Vuunica in trouble. We'll get Everfrost and surely going down as well. And Rascal Jesters have suddenly found the way back in. Marble has not got an infinite KDA anymore, Lexi.
No, it's just going to be bigger than probably anyone in international play or in an academy scene, because this man, while he has perished, it's still a very positive KDA, even at the end of all of this. I think V3 got a bit too big for their britches after this play, and this was a really solid collapse from the side of Rascal Jester. Now, I could probably argue a very strong fact that V3 probably are sitting with a lot of excess gold at the moment, because they have had a few kills. They did get a tower in bot lane at the before this play happened, so this wasn't the cleanest initiation. Now remember, they used a lot. They didn't use a huge amount, but they did use a lot on Shakespeare right here, right now. That GP ult coming out, Washide is very low. Marble is pretty low at this moment in time. V3 should probably just be disengaging as best they can. The problem is they find Rando and they initially want to go straight on to this play. Marble, though, gets left in absolute no man's land. You can see they wanted to try and get over the blue pit. Obviously, that wasn't going to be the case, and ended up actually always leading to their death, because even if they did get over this pit, and they probably would have killed Rando, I don't know if they get out of this play. It's a lot of tough stuff. It's a lot of minor small things here, right?
Oh, Rando surviving on sub 10 HP, gets the grass proc, gets out, and Rascal Jesters coming alive here a little bit. That was what I wanted to see. I wanted to see some plays. I wanted to see a little bit of life, and that was some critical stuff. 2 items now on a Shiratama. Collector alongside the Gale Force. No real tank on V3, so that Collector's going to be able to do a little bit of work. But so apparently is Marble, who's a little angry to have finally been felled the one time. First death in this Academy tournament. Feeling a little angry about it. Yujo as well. Picked up the Magi and has lost all the stacks because they've died as well. So a little bit unfortunate there for V3 Esports. And I'd like to see them maybe just take a little bit of a breath. They're still very happily in the lead, still pretty content with where the game is at, but they need not to keep over chasing when they're 4v5. Reminder, Yujo was dead during that play.
Yeah, Yujo was dead. They didn't play at all a front-to-back team comp. They didn't play around Marble, and it almost still went pretty good in their way. So they can't be kicking themselves too much. They wanted that fight. They probably shouldn't have gone for it, but hey, the fight they lost, they decided to go for it. It's fine, because guess what? At the end of the day, they're still 5k gold up. It's only 20 minutes into this game, and they've already got one outer turret still to go for until Rascal Jester's base is going to be knocked upon every single time. Hatel, though... Ooh. There was a lot of initiation coming from the side of Rascal Jester going on for something very blind at that point.
Yeah, they didn't burn too much, but Hatel has now popped their Shirelias, which to give them enough movement speed to get away. Of course, it is a Rakan, very slippery champion, as I think most of us know, to our frustration or perhaps joy, depending on which side of that the champion you're playing. As it stands, though, still going to get out just fine. It is a 3rd item now complete for Marble, who's gone towards the rapid fire cannon just to make sure they're not getting too close to the likes of a Kaiser and a Rise. Can't blame them on that one, but gonna delay something like an Infinity Edge or a Lord Dominic's. Just decided that range is critical right now.
Yeah, absolutely. I was thinking I really wanted to see that Lord Dominic so they can keep having that applying pressure. It basically prevents any of armor of the side of Rascal Jester and actually makes Shakespeare very much a target that you can almost four-shot with Marble. At this moment in time, Shakespeare's still going to be a relatively decent tank, even though she's 0-3 at the moment. Leona does exactly Leona things,
Yeah.
procs W and is tanky. So that's where the direction they're going to be hoping for, though it looks like V3 Esports are at least interested. Australia was poked there by Hatel, but wasn't able to find anything. Yujo on Cosmic, though. Oh my!
Everfrost coming out is a bit
Jesus.
unfortunate. Hetel now coming over to try and get some more potential force away from the tier 2 is Cosmic.
Hey.
Will likely lose it. Finally, do Rascal Jesters get themselves a tower. They have been shy of those for a little while. They're teleporting down on the GP, though. They want him dead. Rando now in a dangerous position. Going to try and teleport out, but gets hookshotted blind there by Washide. Rando's got nowhere to go. The chains land. Rando will try and cleanse the web. Does a lot of damage back, but it's still not enough. And Washide gets that one. And all the while, Jesters just don't have the damage, don't have the options to try and push for that Baron. Teleport down for Yuji, but Rando tried to TP out in trade, so just a net win for V3. They'll have their top laner dead as this Infernal Dragon spawns, and V3 are in position to claim it.
Let's just give some credit to Washide there. He prevented Rando on the TP. He just went for the most logical location that they believed the Rando was going to be TPing away or recalling, because obviously they don't know if it's a TP or a recall. They land that hook shot blind. Oh, it's beautiful when you see small plays like that coming out from rookie players in their opening debut. Washide, remember, is a well and true rookie. Outside of every other member, Marble had been hyped up in solo queue and just before we started Scouting Grounds. Hatel, I had watched him for a full Scouting Grounds and I was very impressed. Guess you don't want to know who he played alongside?
Tell me.
Kanatu.
Oh, yeah, I remember that guy.
So a small name in the relatively speaking of Rascal Jester's future.
Doing just fine. No, he's fine.
Yujo, obviously, we've already seen before. Unica, we've seen before. Washide is the well and true rookie on this who has no experience. And look at that killer instinct.
That's pretty deep from Washide. Can't quite follow up with the kill. Didn't feel safe enough to go forwards, but that is now an ultimate bopped from both Rando and Shakespeare. Kurup now in trouble, has thrown the Stormbringer down, gets charmed up, but Hetel takes a lot of damage and trade. Cosmic Flash to try and find themselves. The Everfrost won't quite find it. Hetel just too slippery with the battle dance. But nobody falls quite critically for both teams here. Hetel, though, a little bit low, as is Washide. That's the trade they took for going in so deep. It did cost a couple big ultimates there, namely look at the Cannon Barrage, look at the Solar Flare, look at Cosmic's Flash. Those are quite punishable by the side of V3 Esports Academy. I'll just see whether they have a way to really force it. A long way off with a Soul Point. Haven't started the Baron yet. Not really the best Baron damage, all honesty, considering they've not got the best tanks for it, though of course Camille and Zaya not too bad. Be interested to see whether they think about flipping on it, because looking at the Jesters, they've got a lot of ways to potentially ruin you in a Baron pit.
Absolutely. And I think that's why we haven't seen V3 go for it, even though they have got this 5k gold lead advantage, while they have got all this other stuff at the moment. Why would you risk it? Why would you go for it when you can just keep winning this side lane action? And at this moment in time, I wouldn't be too surprised if we're waiting for V3 to basically just get Marble to 3, 4, well, they're at 3 items, up to 4 items, realistically. They'll sell that Doran's Blade, probably upgrade to either an Infinity Edge or a Lord Dominic's and just go fully all in, because at that point, you're a 4-item Zaya with a stopwatch. You've got Feathers Fly. Your team's pretty good at disengaging with a leasing kick, with a Rakan jumping around. We'll have to see with the decision they go for. But I love this ward from the side of our Rascal Jesters. You're going to know if they're there or not on that Baron pit. Whether you can do anything about it is another matter, but I love at least that deep ward they've got there.
It's doing a lot to make sure they know when they can step, because the thing is, Rascal Jesters do scale okay. Rise, GP, even Kaiser, not bad scaling options here. So if you can buy times to get a couple more items, Rise now at 2, Siratama has got the rapid fire cannon to match Marble's 3 items as well right now. Like, if you can hold on, you've got an option, but V3 will now finally start at the Baron. It's Yu-Gi-Oh!
16! Level 16!
Oh, my lords! That
That's
is a
what it does.
sigil of malice that just comes out and deletes them. And it's a mimic one. You're right. It's the level 16 that comes through, and the jungler just disappears.
Holy!
That's what the Banshees fell in a 2-stack Medjais.
I didn't know Pooh was back in the meta, but he's a support player. What is happening?
Like he's not got death cap. This is just good lord. What?
And by the way, his Banshees wasn't even popped.
Oh no!
That's the crazy thing. Shakespeare looked at it, couldn't even Zenith Blade in time because the whole combo was over and he was out. Like that is.
Zhonya's. I think he had Zhonya's at that point.
I
did.
He had the item. I agree with you on that. I don't know if it was up or not. That's one thing I'm not sure about. But if he did, that's even worse. But at that point,
you expect to get popped from that. He was at 2/3. You don't expect to die from that.
Right? We saw 540, and that was doubled, remember, because it was the double proc ultimate. So there was probably 1,800 damage that just clicked, done. Thanos click, done and dusted. Film I watched with you as well.
That wasn't death cap. There were 2 stacks on the Medjais. Like, that was just foul stuff. Level advantages are a hell of a drug, it turns out. Highest level in the game, and now 5 levels over the jungler. I suppose that's what you get when you start having those kind of XP leads. And now with the Baron, now with all lanes shoving outside of actually the top lanes, I look at it, V3 and Yu-Gi-Oh start to shove in. There will be no more errors. There will be no more mistakes. Say V3 Esports. Hetel now standing on this blast code, just waiting to jump over. Look for an engage. And the tower's now under siege, already down to half HP as Shakespeare down to about 1/3 in his HP bar as well. Bot lane inhibitor turret falls, mid lane falls shortly after, and V3 continue to hunt for blood.
Remember, Marble has got this last Whisperer. They've just ticked over to 16, so they're going to be having a huge power spike as Washide goes in.
Kurup is just so far behind the curve, takes so much damage. He's 2 levels behind Eunuch. He just doesn't have the tankiness. Siratama tries to get something, nearly gets Yu-Gi-Oh! Good lord, he's just about alive. It's a heal to try and get close enough. Hetel has used the G Grand Entrance, trying to get something. Shakespeare now going low. Siratama off on the side, trying to clear the wave. That is the option. But Yu-Gi-Oh! Has been able to retreat and back in. It was a valiant attempt at the execute on the LeBlanc, but she's back. She's alive. The turrets are not. And now the Nexus is exposed. It's a flash for Siratama to buy something, but it's just death. And V3 Esports remain undefeated here in the LJL Academy.
And Marble, while you had one death, and Rascal Jesters can always claim that back, V3 Esports looked unstoppable throughout most of this game. It started with that level 1 play. They ended up getting that first blood in that top side, and they just kept going from minute number 1. They didn't stop. Commiserations to Rascal Jester, because you did actually have 1 or 2 good spots where you showed that you're able to actually accrue a team fight, and that it seemed okay, just not able to find anything more than that, and sadly the gold lead was a bit too big.
Yeah, I think that's probably fair. I mean, I'll give credit to Rando. I think played the GP pretty well. We saw that there was the right kind of instincts from Siratama on that Kaiser. Did look for some pretty big plays. Just couldn't quite find it behind. And the problem is on the other side, V3 Esports, superlative laning. Fantastic. And they just snuffed you out from there. Yu-Gi-Oh's LeBlanc, terrifying. Unica on the Lee Sin. Marble finally died, but still looked pretty good. The one overstep did get punished, in fairness, where they tried to go for a 4v5 and it really didn't work. And, credit for Rascal Jester for taking that opportunity, but that was the one fly in the ointment, because otherwise it's V3 looking pretty damn good, guys. I think that's fair to say.
We will have to wait and see how they do fare up throughout the rest of the day, as well as the rest of the next few days and week or so. But we're going to go on a short little break. But when we do return, we've got Crest Gaming Act, the other undefeated team, remember, ladies and gentlemen, facing off against Burning Core with a bunch of veterans on their roster. Don't go anywhere. We've got a spicy one coming up.